And we're live. Have you guys been watching the Olympics?
Yeah.
Dude,
oh,
the
man.
other Olympic pool turned green. They're both green now.
Did I talk on PKN or to either of you about the Filipino Splash Brothers?
No.
I don't think so.
So there are these two Filipino high divers. They're calling them the Splash Brothers. Now, when a high diver comes to the board, forgive me if I use some incorrect terminology here, but if it's a German, an American, a Russian, someone like that, they're coming up there and they're as cold as ice. They're a competitor. It's just stony eyes, dead expression. They adjust their fulcrum on the board. They get up there. They have the exact perfect amount of steps. They take the steps the exact same way. Because they've done it 1,000 times before the same way. They bounce once, bounce twice, and then do their flips or twists or whatever their routine is, and then tiny, tiny splash. No fear, not even a hint of it. It appears watching them do this. These Filipino Splash Brothers, as they're being called, come up there, and they're like, all right, I guess this is it. They get a running start, bounce, and then you can see the fear in their face as they start transitioning into backflips. It's just, the first one goes up there. He does about 2.5 backwards rotations, flat on his back. Big, deep cannonball type splash. Like it looked like something from the Fail blog.
I got it playing.
He crawls out and goes to the hot tub transition pool. Diver number 2 comes up. Same thing. Also, splash. They're both in the pool waiting on the scores. And, an Olympic score, and you got 5 or 6 judges or whatever, and they each hold up a card with the numbers. It goes 0, 0, 0, 0. All the way across the board, and they just look at each other and kind of, well, what are you gonna expect? At least we didn't die. Dude, Enrique didn't fucking make it.
It's funny,
there were 3 Splash Brothers. The third one cracked his face.
They're landing like this, but in their feet.
He honestly looks like someone was standing at the end of the diving board with a gun, like, "Go on, you do it." Like, this guy looks like he got plucked off of the gymnastics team at the last second. Oh, they only allowed 12, not 13. What am I going to do? You're doing the high jump.
He's the only diver. He's the only diver, but that before he does his routine, he looks over the lifeguard like, "Hey, you awake over there?
Get off your phone!
Pay fucking attention! Pay fucking attention! This is gonna be rough." He's gotta psych himself up before he gets to the board.
Dude,
I love seeing that.
That is one of the funniest fucking things.
I love these. I'd never heard of these. I love these dudes. This is amazing.
Giving them more than a 0. I mean, they actually did something. They didn't do nothing.
They didn't do the dive they were supposed to.
It's a gravity-based event, right? Everyone hits the water, okay? We grade you on what you do before, during, and after you hit the water. Like you can't just jump.
Put on the water just like
like scared, like visibly like looking for the right place to go. He swims the wrong direction. They gotta yell it this way. The ladder's this way. Poor guy. They look terrified.
I've been watching the swimming. Missy Franklin's having a bad meet. That makes me sad. I'm like, I don't follow swimming super close anymore. So a lot of the guys I root for were good like 4 years ago, stuff like that. Michael Phelps is killing it. That's pretty impressive. He won an individual gold and some relays.
Did he only qualify for one individual event though?
I think he qualified for more than that.
Okay.
I don't know.
But he's got 20 fucking medals now, more than 20, a lot of countries.
Is he have 22 now?
Oh, maybe I'm out of date.
I think you're slightly behind.
That's a lot of medals,
dude. In college, I swam with this woman, whatever. By the time she was a senior, she was like an 8-time All-American. She was very, very good, and she had a shoulder injury. And we were up against these like heated rivals. Now the men's and women's teams are kind of different, but we swam at the same day. Like the things be interchanged. Anyway, so we're up and our coach gives us this giant pep talk. He's like, I fucking hate, and then the other coach, I hate that guy. We compete against them every fucking year, and he is the biggest piece of shit in the whole conference. If he left this school and went to Alaska, I would drive our asses up there in a van just to kick his ass again. And like it was like a big heated rival, and he didn't give these speeches every game. You know, I was excited. I was a freshman, and I had never had a coach like pump up a team like he did before. Now, I'll mention I did win my individual event, like my fly, but the men's team got their asses kicked as a team. But the women were mega competitive. It was like super close. And the last event at a collegiate event anyway is the 4x100 relay. And this woman, Connie, she had a busted shoulder, so she couldn't swim that day. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so close. Connie would have won every event. But it's like it's coming down to it. All the girls, no one knows who's going to win this thing. It's just like it's a toss up. And I was right there, like I'm sitting on the bench, and my coach is watching, and he's got his clipboard out, and she taps him on the shoulder, and she's like, "Put me in, coach." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "I can beat these fuckers with one arm." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, yeah, I can do this. So she goes up there. Her shoulder's injured. That's why she's not swimming this event. Her shoulder is like, it's like some sort of like labrum tear or something like that. And she has to rest it because she wants to be at her best, come the nationals, so she can be All-American again. Anyway, so she goes up there. Now, the deal with freestyle is you can swim any stroke you want. Like you can do butter, breast, you can make up your own stroke. There's just a few rules. Like you have to be above the water after like 15 yards. And another rule is you have to do the same stroke for an entire lap. So you can change at the midpoint, but you can't change in the middle of the lane. So she's swimming anchor. And like no one knows what she's got in the tank or what she can do. She's not training. She's injured. And it comes into the anchor leg, and she's behind, right? They've handed her a deficit, and the whole meet is hanging on this thing. And she goes out there, and she swims with one fucking arm. It's like this one-arm butterfly thing. And she's keeping up with the other team's anchor leg, one-armed. And then she does her flip turn, 2 arms. She busts out 2 arms, and she cuts the gap in half. Lap 3, 1 arm again, right? The thing hurts. She can't do it. Come the final lap, she breaks out 2 arms. She passes the other guy, and she wins the thing. It like went down as legendary. Like fucking Connie busting out this like 1-arm relay win out of nowhere.
That's really cool.
She was amazing.
Fucking Connie.
Now, on the flip side of the Olympics, getting away from that heartfelt, emotional, wonderful victory, I've been going to this subreddit called Ohlympics.
Yeah.
And it's just like ass shots, creep shots of Olympic athletes and stuff like that. I love it. So water polo is a good one because those chicks like to like pull the other chick's titty out as like a to throw them off base. You know, it appears to me that water polo is a game where like, I don't know, 10 or 15 adults get into a pool that's too deep to stand on the bottom. They tread water and they try to throw a soccer ball through a net on either end. Seems so fucking stupid, but the best part is there's titties and ass. Like these chicks are like pulling each other's bathing suits off so that the other chick will have to like rearrange her boob and put it back away and can't focus on the ball anymore. That, and of course, strategy. It's real good strategy. And then of course there's women's volleyball. And that you got both indoor and beach. Beach is much better. It's much better. I really love the Olympics for the incredibly hot female athletes that are just specimens of physicality and muscularity. They're just asses that look like they could just destroy your penis if they wanted to. They could, like, you'd be fucking them and they would just like flex their butt muscles, and it'd be like those chicks that crush watermelons with their titties. Like your dick would just implode. Like there's some beautiful women.
I was watching
the
water
Olympics.
polo. I was watching a tiny bit of water polo, more like a YouTube clip of like a section of it. And one of the most depressed people in sports have to be goaltenders in water polo, because all it is a very slow approach, because obviously they're in water. Like you can't like sprint up and down the field or the pool, and they get real close to the goal, and then the goalie kind of does a little wiggle maneuver with his lower body, and he goes kind of like wiggles himself up, and he tries to put his hands up because it's way higher than where his head is in the pool. And then he like has this look on his face like, oh, I'm fucking waiting for it. I'm fucking waiting for it. And then without fail, the guy with the ball goes, boom! And it's just goes straight past him and into the net. And every time the goalie's just like, oh, God, 10 out of 10 times I have that one. Get in your game. Get in the game. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because this is a sport where when you take the best of the best of the best, there just isn't parity by position. So similar to lacrosse, the best goalie on the fucking planet is going to stop 7 out of 10 from an average guy. You know, like the best goalie on the if you take a professional hockey goalie and Kyle, you can leave Kyle out there for a week and a half and he will not score. Mm-hmm. If you put Kyle in a pool with that soccer ball, give him 6 or 7 minutes after he's acclimated himself to the temperature of the water, and then he will walk over there and score. Because they have doomed these people from the start. These poor water polo goalies. All this pressure on them, and they can't do anything to stop it. Like, it's just, they're too slow in the water. That really just gave me a kick. I liked that.
Yeah. The goalie just sits there and treads water the entire fucking time, just until somebody.
Everybody does.
That's
everybody does.
Sport. You wonder, like, it's kind of weird to me that there's water polo and then there's polo, which is on horses and shit. And they're just like, let's get rid of the horses and do this in a pool. Like,
they start with horses, but they all drown in the first inning. So then,
I love that
then they drag the horses out and start.
Well, they wanted to take it from an incredibly rich sport to just like a little bit of a rich sport. So you don't need a horse, but you need a pool. You know?
I just see those as two different sports. Like, to call them the same name is a little ridiculous. You know, like there's polo on horseback with like a fucking croquet mallet. And then there's water polo, which has no croquet mallet or horses, and it's in a pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more like water. It's closer to soccer. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like water soccer.
There's no animals involved in one.
Seems like water rugby a little bit, too. I don't know. Yeah. That's good stuff. I like the Olympics. I'm glad to see that. So none of my, not many of my predictions have come true thus far. Nobody's really...
No terrorist attacks.
No terrorist attacks. No huge meltdowns.
A bunch of little things. A bunch of like reporters getting robbed, and there was an Olympic athlete that got beat up. A judo guy, an Olympic judo silver medalist, if I recall correctly, got beat up and robbed, and you know he's got like the silver medal and a black eye, but the black eye wasn't from his event. It was from like
from the robbers later.
He was a bronze medalist.
He's like, if you think the competition inside the Olympic Village is tough, you go outside. Those guys will whip your ass. Yeah. Like, they are a rough bunch out there.
I told them I was a judo guy, and they didn't even care. They used a knife. You know?
Right. Well, you want to say that's why he's the bronze medalist, not the gold.
Gold medalist.
Gold medalist would have been fine.
Got his ass kicked by a dude on the beach.
That's funny.
I think no terrorist attacks. I mean, Rio has a reputation of such kind of a dangerous place. Maybe even the terrorists didn't really want to fuck around with the locals.
Yeah, we're not going there. We'll end up with Zika virus.
Fellas.
Even ISIS doesn't want to take over Brazil because it's such a shithole.
Yeah.
There's no sand.
Yeah.
Wait, there is sand.
There's sand, of course.
There's
sand.
beaches.
There used to be much more sand. I've got a friend.
It is funny though them calling another place a shithole when their shit is Libya in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
I got a friend that lives over there in Brazil. He got one of those pocket Portuguese dictionaries and just fucking winged it, and ended up marrying a woman whose father owns this big sugar plantation down there, and now he farms their giant sugar plantation and is in line to inherit it. And he's always like really made a killing by hooking up with this Portuguese lady, and this Brazilian lady, they speak Portuguese. It's fucking so hot. And I was like, do all the women down there look like that, or did you just get a good one? He was like, they all look like that. I just laughed at that. He was like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, they all look like that. And I was like, shit, I want to go because her ass is so big. And then like, whenever I watch like anything in Brazil, like it seems like they always focus on the beaches with all the nudity and the gigantic Brazilian women's asses, and that's always nice. I like that a lot.
My brother lived in Brazil. He lived in Rio for a year, and he said it's like that. He said the chicks are ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think I'll be going anytime soon though, because of the the Zika virus and the gun battles and such.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean, there's gun battles in Los Angeles. I'd still live here.
Yeah, but not even like playing, not even in the same ballpark, much less playing the same sport as gunfights in Rio. Like there was a bus of Chinese reporters who got caught in the crossfire of a gun battle in Rio. Like, they could have the Olympics in LA, and at no point would a bus load of, I don't know, Saudis get caught in the crossfire between a couple of gangs.
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about the Chinese guys.
Yeah. Did you hear about the guy in the kayak who hit a couch in the middle of his race and capsized?
Yep.
I did.
No, I didn't hear about that.
There was a couch under the water's surface, and he just ran into it and capsized in this nasty-ass water.
That's fucking... I'm looking that up immediately after this podcast.
They say if you ingest 1 teaspoon of that water, you will get violently ill. Like 1 teaspoon, that's all it takes. Just keep your mouths shut, guys. Everyone keep your mouths shut.
Yeah.
Dude, even the Olympic pools are like green and disgusting and murky and stuff like that. It was one of the teams, I think it was the Australians. They were training with snorkels, like doing their warm-up laps and stuff with snorkels on so that they didn't get any of the water in their mouth and nose. That's
what event?
Terrible place to be at.
The event that I wanted to see, and I don't think it's been broadcast, I think they do like an open water swim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some swimming competitions that would take place in those disgusting rivers. Like there's no way to get around it and get in a pool. They're just in that awful water. And I haven't seen that anywhere because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the beginning of that event starts on the beach and everybody runs out into the water and jumps into the water and then starts stroking. You would see them hit that foamy, disgusting, like stuff that's there by the beach, where the disgusting water, like the waves lap the beach over and over and create that brownish green foam. You would have to see all of that. You'd have to see them running. I'm thinking, like, what if they step on a glass bottle like fucking Samwise Gamgee out there and cut their foot halfway off? Oh, that's I don't know where the
bad place.
I think the next Summer Games are in Japan, so I think I'll feel much more confident about that if I'm an Olympian.
Shit, they got the fucking Fukushima radiation.
Yeah, but that's we won't go there.
No, you just avoid there.
That's why there's no organics in the water. They're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like it's World Championships. I'm having a hard time finding the Olympic version. Yeah, there's a 10-kilometer race in the Olympics. It's open water. I just don't know the date on it.
You couldn't pay me to swim through 10 kilometers of that water. First of all, I couldn't do it. Second of all, if I could do it, I wouldn't do it because that sounds like a nightmare, swimming through 10 kilometers of that shit water with dead bodies in it.
There's a race in Ocean City that's 25 miles, and it's too long. I never swam 25 miles, but a friend of mine did, and he got last place. But it turns out like every finisher gets like $500, and last place gets an extra $1,000. And he was like, "Awesome!" He wasn't trying to get last, but he got the bonus money.
I would be last every year.
I'd say it was Ocean City.
Oh, yeah,
take
Ocean
a
City,
boat,
New Jersey.
like
in Maryland.
The first
No,
24
New Jersey.
miles.
They swim around the whole island. The island's 10 miles
Drinking
long.
all day.
Yeah. Oh, they
You show back up drunk.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'd get on a boat and be like, maybe they're swimming across a lake or I'd be out there on a boat just drinking with my buddies. Like it's the end of the day. Like, all right, time to knock out this last mile. No sweat. Just like swimming all drunk, tired from your mile. Collect your extra $1,500.
After attempting to cheat in a 25-mile swim where he reportedly drank with his friends to the point of inebriation, then tried to swim the last mile. Problem is, he went the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
How long is 10 kilometers? Like 6.2 miles?
Too long to swim. Like, that's so long to swim.
I swam a 5-mile race once. It wasn't that bad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is far as shit to swim. 5 miles?
Yeah, they did it in Ocean City every year. They made this big deal out of it. I remember there was a guy, like a lot of people like entered it. It was like 500 people or something. They'd come from all over. And this guy who used to train like I was a lifeguard on the beach, got like 40th. And they're like, dude, he's really a something swimmer. He got 40th, whatever. And I'm like, 40th out of 500? Like, is that big a deal? And the guard who was next to me was an older guy. And he basically said that I couldn't do it. And I'm just like, motherfucker, you think I can't finish top like 10% in that race? And so I just went out there and did it. And I won't say that I didn't try. Like I was swimming hard, but there was a point where I stopped and like fucked around with the people in the safety boats. And I asked them for a drink. and they had fucking like vodka in there, and I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was gonna be water, and I got third, so I did pretty well.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Did you drink the vodka?
Like I thought it was water, so once I realized it was vodka, I was instantly like they fucked me up. Like I thought I was getting a little like sip of water because the lifeguards would like, yeah, they just had all these boats along the way in case anyone got in trouble, and I didn't expect them to be out there getting drunk, but that's what they were doing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems to be a big part of boating.
These were rowboats, man. You know, yeah.
I mean, you got to do something. That's even more reason to drink. You're just, like, fuck that, man.
Yeah, when you get rid of drinking, the ocean becomes way more boring. Like suddenly you're just, you know, I'm just surrounded by potential danger. There are critters out there that'll poison me if I step on them or something. Like, no, you need a little bit of beer.